problems. Wellness tips 7. Good quality sleep. Better sleep.
Welcome to Tech Trends. Technology is becoming a part of our life. Some for good and some just a distraction. Here at Tech Trends, we will help you get the best out of technology by letting you know what matters in today's technology. So join us every week on Dunamis TV. Today we will talk about smartphones. What to consider before buying a new smartphone. Smartphones have sneaked their way into almost every living moment of our technologically fueled lives. More people are buying smartphones, and the number of options is also increasing. Choosing a smartphone from such an overwhelming list of options might get confusing, so we will do our best to help you pick the best smartphone for your needs. It is also good to know that there are other types of phone we are not covering in today's program, like the simple GSM phone we call tight phones and the GSM other program, as we will be talking about smartphone, or what some people call a touch phone because of the use of fingers to touch and operate the phones. The origin of the modern-day smartphone started from the iPhone. In a few years Samsung and others were copying almost everything on the iPhone, and so much that they were sued edges. While forced to now copy with stock system, they developed the Android and made it open for the rest of the mobile market. Today, Android is the most popular competition to the Apple iPhone operating system known as the iOS. Where did Nokia and BlackBerry go? The smartphone industry to a great extent was dominated by two great giants a few years back. If you never used a Nokia or a BlackBerry, permit me to say you are new school to mobile phones. Before smartphones got really smart, we had the PDA's personal digital assistants. These have been replaced by apps on smartphones today. Well, enough of the past, let go to the present day. With the variety and flavors of smartphones in the market today, narrowing your choice to one is not easy. This guide will help you buy a smartphone in Nigeria and Africa or in similar emerging markets. Since a lot of people are buying their first smartphone in such markets, this guide will also enable you identify a smartphone. What is a smartphone? A smartphone is simply a mobile phone that runs on Android or iOS operating systems, like iPhone and Android phones is not completely true. There are so many other mobile phone operating systems like Windows Mobile, Palm, Symbian and many others, but not as popular today as the iPhone and Android phones. So, we will keep our focus on iPhones and Android for this episode. Please also see the journey of the smartphone. Conditions of phones on sale. Brand news, refurbished, London used and second-hand. Variation of specs for short, a lot of phone users do not want to be bored by this. But if you can pay a little attention to this, it will go a long way to make your mobile phone functionality a bit smoother, if you choose the right specs of phone. Unlike older phone, smart mobile phones today are actually computers that can make calls and more. The difference between freezing, slow or even phone shutting down completely can be traced back to this. Finally, the technical specs of the smartphone is directly proportional to the value and hence the cost of the phone. So before you jump and celebrate your smartphone deal, please check the specification. Let's take a closer look inside smartphones. Your smartphone processor, also known as the chipset or the SoC, is the component that is responsible for just about everything functioning on your smartphone. It is essentially the brain of the system, and most of these processors also come equipped with AI capabilities that essentially make your smartphone as smart it is today. A capable processor not only allows your device to function seamlessly but is also capable of enhancing other factors. One example is image processing. Samsung phones, as an example, comes in two variants, one hosting the Snapdragon chipset, the latest one being Snapdragon 865 Plus. In contrast, the other one employs Samsung's in-house Exynos processor, the latest being Exynos 990. Some reviewers have explicitly stated that there is a tangible difference in not just the processing power of the two variants, the Snapdragon being much snappier, but also the image processing abilities. So, when you choose your smartphone, it is important to know what processor you're getting along with it since the performance directly correlates with it. Popular ones include Snapdragon, Apple A13 Bionic, Exynos 990, and Kirin 990. Apple processors are known for their raw computing power, and Snapdragon processors are the closest equivalent in the Android realm. You also have lower-powered processors for mid-range and budget devices such as the Snapdragon 730 and 730G, Snapdragon 675, MediaTek Helio G90T and G85, and more, that are commonly found in lower-priced 2021 smartphones. If you're on a budget and don't mind sacrificing some power to save money, consider buying phones with one of these processors since they drive down costs quite a bit. Next is the memory. Coming to RAM, this refers to system memory that smartphones use to hold data that active applications are using. A portion of your smartphone's RAM is always used up by the operating system to keep it running. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of RAM usage in a phone since it involves explaining terms such as kernel space, which will end up taking a lot of time in the program. Having sufficient RAM can allow you to have a larger number of apps running in the background, which significantly affects your multitasking experience. However, some smartphones are breaking all barriers and installing a whopping 12 to 16 gigabytes of RAM in their smartphones. That's definitely an overkill for smartphones, especially if you don't plan on switching between 10 to 20 apps at the same time. If you're a light smartphone user, someone who only uses their phone for calls, texts, WhatsApp and light browsing, you can easily get away with 3 to 4 gigabytes RAM. For power users, something around the ballpark of 6 to 8 gigabytes is perfectly fine. So we do not recommend any phone less than 3 GB RAM for a standard use choice of operating system. After all said and done, we have three main operating system smartphones, namely more complicated. You are simple, powerful OS. Android is also almost as powerful but not quite as simple, although the current Android version has become much simpler to use than the days of gingerbread. Just know that iOS, as an OS, is quite limiting in some cases. For instance, you cannot sideload apps from other source outside the Apple App Store easily without jailbreaking the iPhone. You cannot customize your home screen, although iOS 14 may include widgets, and you definitely cannot use launchers to completely change the look of your phone. However, iOS comes with a plethora of advantages as well, such as iMessage, FaceTime, regular software updates, and the biggest of all, minimal bloatware and no adware. We're looking at you. iOS is a robust and secure platform. Preferred user interface. You also have to keep in mind that numerous smartphones come with their own skin or UI user interface smacked on top of Android. OnePlus has Oxygen OS, a clean skin that is quite close to stock Android. Samsung comes with One UI 2, which has improved by leaps and bounds from its TouchWiz days. My UI on Xiaomi phones, which is an ad fest but is well optimized. Color OS on Oppo and Realme smartphones, that is heavily inspired by iOS. Remember to try and experience the UI before buying the device to see if it works for you. A good display. Smartphone display sizes seem to be ever increasing and are continually pushing the boundary of what we'd expect a smartphone display size to be. They've reached the phablet realm with displays even reaching up to 6.9 inches. However, in the age where content is being consumed increasingly on our pocket devices, hard to call them that now, this may not be a bad thing. We suggest anything above 5.7 inches so you can really immerse yourself into games and media. As far as display types go, you have LCD and AMOLED displays. AMOLED displays have variants such as OLED or Super AMOLED in the case of Samsung and have better contrast and darker blacks. They also assist in saving battery since they turn off all the black pixels on the phone to display true black. Next, you also have various resolutions such as Full HD, Full HD plus Quad HD. While QHD does provide crisper images, the difference between FHD and QHD is not too visible, especially to the untrained eye. You should also check the screen protection on your device. Gorilla 5 and 6 are usually used in current generation smartphones, and they provide reasonable protection for your glass sandwiches. However, we still recommend a case-strong GB of data from our previous flagship phones, as well as some mid-range phones, can also reach 8 to 10 hours of screen on time, which is brilliant. In the current iPhone, the battery occupies much more space than any other component on the phone to meet its battery need. The goal is to get a phone that can at least pull through one whole day of intensive usage. So, ensure to check battery tests online before purchasing a device. Also, try and research if the phone you're planning on buying has a decent power-saving mode. In case of need for extended use. Camera quality that justifies the price. In 2020, multi-cameras are the norm and phones with just one rear camera are extremely rare now. You usually get a primary lens which sports the highest MP count, a portrait lens, and a wide-angle shooter. And then, you also have a few extras that some manufacturers add such as the TOF time of flight sensor, macro lens, and color filter lens. We, here at Tech Trends, are fans of the wide-angle lens because of the magnitude of images you can now take on phones. Capturing sprawling scenes is not a problem anymore. The portrait lens, when done well, can produce spectacular bokeh shots too. However, if this trend just isn't for you and the growing camera bumps enrage you, it would be best to buy older phones with one primary lens or newer ones such as the iPhone SE 2020. Also, don't go MP hunting. Higher megapixel count doesn't always mean better images since the sensor size is much more integral to producing good photos. Smartphones have also been employing pixel binning, which essentially turns 4 or more pixel into one big pixel that adds clarity and detail to the image. Also, for now, try to stray away from the 108 MP sensors since they're pretty rough around the edges at the moment, plagued with image fringing and autofocus issues. Miscellaneous things to consider: wireless charging, gaming mode, fingerprint sensor versus face unlock, Bluetooth version, IP rating, dual SIM, reverse wireless charging, stereo speakers, NFC, dual band Wi-Fi. What not to consider? Foldable designs. While the design evolution is innovative and smart, it is simply too early to be completely reliable. Our verdict? Hold off on buying foldable phones for a few years. 5G smartphones. In a country like the US, which is slowly but surely seeing widespread 5G integration, low band or mmWave, sure, go for 5G phones to future-proof. However, 5G integration in Nigeria is still some years away, and the proper rollout is many more away. So, it makes no sense paying more to purchase a 5G phone. In summary, we recommend that you do not always rush out to buy new models first. Wait for at least 6 months for the technology to get stable and acceptance, and for the cost to also drop, and you can get a good deal from it. Your God-given resources can always be put to good use if you are patient to wait. Listen to reviews from Tech Trends and other platforms, take notes and compare. Always stick to technology you can easily adapt or adjust to and maintain the ecosystem. Always buy for today and the future, and in all, think of security and simplicity. Get a phone that can help you achieve your result, not for you to start learning how to be a phone mechanic. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Tech Trends. Until we come your way on next episode of Tech Trend on Dunamis TV. And on behalf of the entire crew, our executive producers Drs. Paul and Becky Anenche, God bless you till we join you same time next week on Dunamis TV.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and in verse 10, he said, whatsoever thine hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work nor device nor knowledge nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. Workplace and career wisdom. What kind of wisdom does a person need in the workplace and in life and career generally? It is crucial for every one of us to have enough wisdom to be successful in the workplace for 3 reasons. Number 1, you exist as a representative of the kingdom in character, conduct, and workplace. You exist as a representative of the kingdom of God. So everybody is watching you. That is why they tell some Christians at times, and he calls himself a Christian, coming late to work. You represent the kingdom actually in character, conduct, action, and output or performance, to ensure you are not a reproach to God or a reproach to the name of God in your character, in your conduct, in your performance at duty. Number 2, because you exist as a light bearer or a road pointer for the ungodly at the workplace. It is the duty of the child of God to show the world how to walk. We are to show them how to be employers, how to be superiors, and how to be employees. For we are the light of the world. A city set on a hill shall not be hid. We are to show the world how to serve. We are to be pace setters, not pace keepers. We don't keep pace with the unbelievers, we set pace for them. The challenge is that many children of God are being colonized by their unbelieving colleagues. Colonized. They are looking at their unbelieving colleagues as examples. They come late and write wrong date of arrival to duty. You also come late and you behave like them. No, the unbeliever is to know how to be an employee, seeing how a believer employee operates. They should see Daniel and know what faithfulness and They should see Joseph and know what it means to be a servant of God in the workplace. And number 3, you are to excel and rise to your full God-given potential of authority. Every child of God is meant to be in charge, or rather your destiny is to be in charge of your organization. If you are a professor today, becoming the vice chancellor is your destiny. If you are a businessman today, becoming a billionaire, employer of labor, industrialist is your portion. But God wants us to excel and rise and take our position of authority like subordinate than for the subordinate to influence the superior through of us. Between the driver and the organ, who can easily say follow me to church? So if your life is difficult as far as impact is concerned when you are under, so what wisdom is needed therefore to be a good representative of God, to be a shining light to the unbelievers, and to rise to the top. Number 1, be an asset, not a concern, a blessing, not a burden. In Genesis chapter 39 verse 5, the moment it came to pass, from the time they made Joseph overseer of Potiphar's house over all that he had, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. Be a blessing, not a burden, an asset, not a concern. Anywhere you find yourself, refuse to be a welfare staff, somebody they employed just to assist him. Refuse to be connected to a sympathetic employment or an employment that came out of sympathy. Be an asset means be a difference maker, a change agent. Let your arrival signal change. Let a difference be made anywhere you are found. Let something shift forward because you are there. When that is the case, you will come to the point in your life where your colleagues will follow you and your footsteps, and then the top is your place. Number 2, be faithful, be reliable, be dependable, be trustworthy. The Bible said in Genesis 39 verse 6, where we read, the Potiphar left everything in Joseph's hand and there was nothing missing. Let everything under your custody be safe. Let there be no stories when it concerns you and money. If you cannot be trusted, you cannot be entrusted. Don't let question mark hang around you and money matters. This has denied many people the possibility and potential of rising where God wanted them to go. Proverbs chapter 28 and in verse 20, he said, a faithful man shall abound with the blessings. Show me a man who is financially faithful, trustworthy, reliable, dependable, can be entrusted. Hear me, sir. He shall abound with the blessings. Number 3, be a solution provider, not a money monger. Don't be a money hungry employee. Be a problem solver. Identify the problems around you and solve them.